Yes, sir. What's this? The spectacular collapse of the trans movement.
How many genders are there?
It's a spectrum, so like
She's
a
right.
lot.
Can you name me a few?
Not a stupid one. I've seen a stupid one.
You don't think that there really is any clear-cut distinction between male and female as biological categories, is that correct?
So I do not define what
God damn.
a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term.
Well, 3 years ago, a Florida family story went viral for raising a gender-neutral baby.
Bro, what? Bro, what?
I identify as non-binary.
I was fast-tracked onto puberty blockers and then testosterone.
Gender clinics across the country
Yo,
have seen
ruining
a
the
huge
kids.
rise in child referrals.
I have been misgendered 3
This fucking guy.
times in the past 24 hours.
A Christian teacher who was banned from teaching for misgendering a pupil has lost his high court battle.
He got the axe for failing to use a transgender student's preferred pronouns.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Mate, you sound way too old to be crying about that sort of stuff. You should be wiser than that, stupid old man.
I'm a member of the transgender community.
Yeah, fucking we can tell you look like fucking the Joker.
More accurately, more specifically, I'm what you call gender non-binary or gender non-conforming.
I'm so glad that everyone
Gender non-conforming, that alone is very strange.
has had enough of this.
Yeah, fuck's sake.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by Incogni. I hope you all liked the
Fuck off.
very dramatic introduction that I tried to execute for this video. I'm trying to do something different, okay? I expect all of you to tell me in the comments that I am the Lord of Editing. And if you don't, then I shall scream. Anyway, as many of you know who've been around this channel for a number of years, I have continually brought you stories concerning the transgender movement and its weird cousin, the gender ideology movement. Although
Yeah.
at this point, they're more like conjoined twins, just fused
Yeah, they're fucking stuck together, and the other's trying to escape like, motherfucker, you not like me. They not like us.
together to bring the rest of us suffering. But I have always believed that had these
She's right.
ideologies simply stayed on Reddit and on Tumblr and
She's right, so far.
in the recesses of academia, things might have turned out differently. But no. But for the last decade or so, the
Let me grab a
conjoined
drink, I'll be back
twins
in a
have
sec.
been beating down the door of every single institution, both politically, medically, socially, and basically calling for outright submission from absolutely everyone. Through force, mostly, and against all logic and reason, this ideology, these ideologies, have become mainstream. I really, really wish it had all stayed on Tumblr. As things have accelerated,
True.
I have told you stories about violent male criminals housed with female inmates. I've walked you through the many, many ways this ideology has attacked and erased women and motherhood. I've told
Yep.
you about men beating the snot out of women in women's sports, and
Yep, yeah.
how this
We've seen it.
movement has destroyed our entire comprehension of the English language so that we might accommodate the Zirzims and their chest feeding and chemically
Zirzims.
induced nipple discharge. Yeah,
Weirdos.
I bet that's an image.
The weirdos of society, leave us alone and leave them kids alone. See that remix?
You're glad I put in your head. Pour that on your cereal. I am sorry. That's a lot. So with that in mind, what will come as a surprise to none of you is that this ideology, these movements, have finally pushed things way too far. And now they get to see the fruits of their labor come to fruition in ways
Good.
that they didn't quite expect.
Good, because the chicken always comes home to roost.
As most of you likely know, since day one of his presidency, Donald Trump has signed several executive orders that walk back some of the insanity integrated into US society over the last decade or so. The first was an executive order stating that the US government will only recognize two sexes. As an aside too, I find it
Crazy thing to say in 2025. Madness. Who thought we would have been here?
ridiculously embarrassing that we need
Busy with this. Fucking hell, if you would have asked kids in the 1940s, what would they be doing in 2025? They would have said flying. Humans would be able to fly. Like superheroes. Look at us. We don't know what a woman is.
needed someone to sign an executive order stating that there are only two sexes, given that this is something that we have understood forever. It is odd that the last 10 years or so has completely eliminated all logic and reason. I struggle with this. The second executive order will essentially remove transgender and gender ideology weirdos from military service, rightly pointing out that the military's existence.
It almost seems like a psyop that went wrong, so they're running back. They're going back on it. They're going, this ain't the one.
Policy excludes people who have medical conditions and physical defects. The third executive order will end gender-based mutilation of minors. And in his most recent move, Trump signed a fourth executive order banning men from women's sports.
This common-sense action from President Trump ends the disgusting betrayal of women and girls by the previous administration, who for years...
And it's crazy. What a nefarious sort of system to have, that they even had women campaigning for their own downfall in sports by having men compete against them. They had actually women fighting for that right, to have the right for a man to smash them up in boxing. It's literally crazy. It's so poetic.
Catered to radical activists who wanted biological males to be treated as women in workplace showers, competitive sports, prisons, and even rape shelters.
Once again, unsurprising.
Even rape shelters. How crazy. Yeah, massive devolution, bro.
To none of you, this has caused a lot of screaming from the usual suspects.
Devolution featuring the devil.
But with all of this said, and with everything that I'm about to lay out in the rest of this video, I want to make one key crucial point that basically summarizes why
you can't spell devolution without spelling devil.
We're talking about
I'm here just sit thinking now.
These executive orders have obviously resulted in a ton of screaming. But the people doing the screaming haven't stopped for a single second to realize that they did this to themselves. So I'm going to walk you through what led us to this point. And it's terrible, and I'm sorry in advance. But you want to know what I'm not sorry about? You protecting your private information, which is...
Oh, no! We're safe.
I would argue that most of us, me included, started off pretty indifferent to all of this. I can only speak for myself, but I've always been pretty live and let live. You want to call yourself a man and live as one? Okay, no skin off my nose. You want to call yourself a Zir Zim in your weird online community away from me? Okay, you do you. You want me to treat most people with decency, even if I don't agree with some of the things that they're doing, obviously, unless those things are illegal, that's a different story. Then sure, that's fine, I can do that. But you see, the problem is, these activists and the people in these movements have pushed people like me, and probably a lot of you, way too far. Somewhere along this psycho road, this stopped being about decency and the tenets of live and let live, and became about forcing compliance, compelling speech, forcing women especially into situations that are unsafe or make us feel deeply and inherently uncomfortable. And so the acceleration of this forced compliance and these crazy situations have forced people like me, the people who've long been in the middle, just floating
the normal people, I think,
around being pretty
make their food,
be indifferent, right over the edge of the cliff. So now, no, I won't use your preferred pronouns. I don't want men in women's bathrooms and locker rooms, no matter how much of a wallflower that man is. I no longer believe that the Zir Zims are harmless internet dorks. I see them as people perpetuating genuine mental illness with the support of politicians and academia and the medical community and basically every other institution under the sun. So if you're here watching this, part of this group of people, wondering why it seems that everyone turned on you so quickly, or if you're like me and you're like, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, this was always going to get like this, but Sydney, please tell me more. I'm gonna walk you all through how we ended up at...
Hold on. Let me show you something. I saw it earlier. It inspired the title.
Apparently it's National Coming Out Day, so I wanted to take this opportunity to encourage some of you to go back into the closet. Not everyone, just you weird ones
Listen.
who are ruining it for the rest of us. If you think Drag Queen Story Hour is a good idea, back in the closet. If you think transitioning minors is okay, back in the closet. If you think that teachers should have pride flags in their classrooms, back in the closet. And especially you guys who act out all your weird stuff in public, get back in the closet. Just get back in there.
100% based. Forgot to show ya.
This exact spot in time. And of course, it all started very subtly and insidiously, as these things so often do. In the early 2010s, progressive companies, HR departments, and universities around North America started adopting preferred pronoun policies.
Crazy time.
The University of Michigan.
It's like Loopy Lala time. I want to be identified as there. Like backwards one. They'll going, yeah, all right, fuck it.
For example, introduced
add that in.
A system in 2013 allowing students to designate pronouns he, she,
Crazy.
ze, zer on class
Crazy.
rosters.
It's like literally confusing something that's not broken, creating an utter confusion and giving the kids the option for that confusion, knowing that they've brainwashed the media, they've brainwashed the phones that they're holding and scrolling most of the hours of their day, knowing that they've pumped it with that sort of propaganda. Yeah, you can be gender fluid. You can be. It's fine to feel like a woman if you're a man. Proper affirming it. And then letting that marinate for a little while, and then giving the kids the option to choose their pronoun. Well, obviously you're gonna get weirdos like these are fucking kids, mate.
With the expectation that professors comply with this self-identification.
Yeah, and then making the professors comply, the adults, the ones that are literally watching this going, fuck it now. No wonder must have been a massive exodus during this hellish period of actually talented teachers with merit and that true teacher spirit of that, the spirit of the guider. The spirit of the teacher, the leader, I will guide you. You know what I mean? That true essence of the love and passion to want to teach. Loads of them would have left. Loads of them would have left because they've got integrity. They've got integrity in themselves. So that if when they would have seen the school boards and all of this, whatever the curriculum, that above the government demanding that they comply to the children's chosen pronouns. Yeah, they would have said, nah, I'm going. And then that's why you see a massive decline in education, because you've got people with no merit. They're hiring people on DEI. I could talk about this for 15,972,000 billion years.
Employees were also encouraged to add pronouns to their email signatures at particular companies. The concept of non-binary was already swirling around Tumblr and Twitter, but now these fringe identities and psycho-neo-pronouns were showing up in the real world. Non-compliance at this point wasn't heavily penalized. Everything was painted as voluntary, but cultural pressure started to accelerate.
Ooh,
I'm non-binary, and this is why I use this abbreviation.
Yeah, what the fuck is that, bro?
And not this one.
Today I'm going to show you how to use A-air pronouns in sentences, so let's go. A-air pronouns.
Look, see the way, and as well, I've seen this content creator before. She's very like, condescending. It's like teaching you like as if you're a little kid. That's, so you can see the sort of stupid audience that she garners. It's like, fucking hell. They enjoy someone speaking down to them like this.
Our form of neo
freaks and weirdos.
Pronouns. And oh my goodness, isn't that just so beautiful?
Loners.
So one of the unexpected parts about being a tall trans femme is the amount of times I'll be walking behind a woman on the streets and I'll skirt around because I got long legs and places to be. And then they're scared because they think that I'm a man. And I'm like...
Hey, what? Excuse me, they think you're a man? Is someone gonna tell him?
No, I'm sorry. I'm on your team.
I'm shook.
2013, Australia was allowing people to put X as a gender marker on their passports. This was adopted by other places around the world. News outlets like The Guardian and NPR started running pieces about non-binary identities, confusingly using they to refer to these people. By 2014,
fucking strange.
Laverne Cox appeared on the cover of Time magazine with the headline, "The Transgender Tipping Point." Just a year later, we had Jazz Jennings on everyone's screen, the young boy who was marked as transgender and going through a very, very public
brainwashing, propaganda, programming. This is what we said.
Transition. Celebrities like Miley Cyrus were coming out as genderqueer. And at this time too,
encouraging it, influencing the children into it. It's okay to do it. Look, your favorite celebrity is doing it. Brainwashing, programming.
Gendering someone online, calling a trans-identified male he, which you still really can't do here on YouTube, triggered intense viral outrage, doxing, social ostracism, and even job loss. Social media platforms were banning people left, right, and center, and honestly, they still kind of are.
Can you explain why misgendering is an act of violence?
A Christian teacher who was banned from teaching for misgendering a pupil has lost his high court battle.
He got the axe for failing to use a transgender student's preferred pronouns.
The social
It's like almost like they were doing anything to get rid of the good teachers, the powers that be. They were doing anything to get rid of the good teachers, and the ones that were stubbornly staying, even through the bullshit, like the ones I was telling you earlier, the ones with integrity that left. There were still some that had that integrity, and still their will and their passion and love for the teaching spirit within them, that yearning to guide and teach. That calling, so to speak, was so strong within them that they said, I'm staying even no matter what. I'll battle through this, I'll do it no matter what. And even them, the government was like, or the powers that be was like, trying to crumble them down. He misgendered someone, lose your career now. You'll lose your career. What sort of shit is this? Meanwhile, the majority of the people will be watching, reacting like this. What sort of fucking shit is this? How can this be allowed? Meek we are, though.
Enforcement was fierce, and the legal enforcement wasn't too far behind. As we saw that not too long after all of this, UK police were showing up at people's houses to arrest them for misgendering people online. By 2016, Canada's Bill C-16 blew up in a major way. The legislation was designed to amend the Canadian Human Rights Act to include gender identity or expression, but all it did was upset people about its propensity for compelled pronoun use. And it gave us Jordan Peterson, who at the time was a professor at the University of Toronto, and who refused patently to use pronouns like "zir" and "they" for mentally unwell people. In the same year, the U.S. Department of Education issued a directive to public schools that forced them to let trans-identified students use the bathroom and locker room that matched their gender identity. If the schools refused, they risked federal funding cuts. Around the same time, the New York City Commission...
And you know what? The way you stop all of this shit is all the parents getting together and let's pull all our kids out. What are you going to be doing then? Sitting in empty classrooms, waffling about what's a woman and what a man is and all of that. Sitting there talking about that. Okay, cool, do that. That's how people got to do it. We band together, we go, nah, we can see that this is bad. Pull out. We get all our kids out of this. Fuck that. We'll homeschool them. Fuck it, we'll homeschool them. You see them do 180 in 24 hours. Possibly less. End of the day, it's a business from, so that's the number one thing is making the money. And right now they're literally taking the piss out of you while they're taking the money from you. It's crazy.
On Human Rights declared that the refusal to use a person's preferred pronouns, including zir and here, I haven't heard of here, that's a new one, could be discriminatory
How many are there?
Under city law, with fines up to $250,000 for employers and landlords, just because they don't want to call you here. It's spelled H-I-R. Yeah, I know. It's very weird. Unsurprising
Crazy.
to absolutely none of you, after this, things started to go downhill pretty quickly. While many trans activists continued to argue that they just wanted to be left alone and live their lives,
Yeah, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You demanded the world to conform to your perceived fantasy and the way you perceive yourself. You demanded the world conform to that. The reason, and then the moment that backfired, you started pulling out that card. The card of, I just want to simply exist. The true transgenders and the true gays have been saying this from the beginning. The ones that I stand with the true gays and the true transgenders. Not the ones that disagree with this shit. The ones that are against pride. The ones that are against castrating children and chemically destroying them. You know, the ones that are against, common sense. I stand with them 100% because I truly don't care about their sexual orientation. I care about, normal common sense and affecting children's growth, stunting that growth, because that's very important for the future generation. It paints the picture of how the future generation is going to be.
the wider population was being subjected to both legal and social compliance. Because of course they were! By 2018, they were pushing to erase women from discussions around pregnancy, motherhood, and menstruation.
Yep. What did they call it? Birth in person. Birth in person, ladies and gentlemen.
Arguing it excluded trans
crazy.
men and non-binary people. They pushed to change terms like woman to uterus owner or mother.
Exactly. They say they respect women. All I see here is utter disrespect of women. Anyone can be a woman, according to them. No.
Mother to pregnant person.
No.
Politicians started adopting this language.
The largest labor union in the country, the National Education Association, had been proposing a resolution for future contracts to replace the word mother with birthing parent.
You shifted from using the term mother to birthing people.
That's really strange.
For black birthing people.
And birthing people.
Birthing people.
When asked, American
That's strange. You can see that they before they went to speak, they would have got these reminders. Remember to say these keywords. Say these keywords. Birth in person. It's not mother. Womb owner. Anything but mother. Say anything but mother. They would have got a reminder of that. And you can see because this is not natural behavior. A normal human does not communicate like this.
Judges couldn't and refused to define what a woman is.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
You can't provide a definition for woman. This is terrible, and you must stand down from your position. Supreme Court nominee, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in...
Okay.
My niece can. My niece.
This context,
So you
I'm not a
believe the meaning
biologist.
of-
To be clear, you wrote this while you were a sitting judge, 2017? You were on the bench?
That is correct, after
Okay.
a case I had.
So, as I understand it, you don't think that there really is any clear-cut distinction between male and female as biological categories. Is that correct? That's what you wrote.
What am I even
Then they start backpedaling.
listening to? How are judges meant to interpret the law when they
Yeah.
can't even interpret biology? This is alarming on all the alarming levels.
Stupid.
Kind of terrifyingly, this wasn't only a political and social issue. The medical community was starting to participate. Of course, not only in the language changes, but the just kind
Fucking
of
hell. That's where I know it's like a proper agenda-fueled bullshit. When even it's going to medical levels and they're using these terms, they're cementing it in, baking it into law. It's fucking ridiculous. Damn.
general mass delusion that was taking place. People in the scientific communities started insisting that there were more than two sexes, tying themselves in knots trying to justify this position. We ended up with terms like sex assigned at birth and the insistence even from some outfits that men can give birth.
Do you believe then that men can become pregnant and have abortions?
Yes.
Doctor?
Kumar, can biological...
Speechless, man.
Men become pregnant and give birth.
He's asking a doctor. Mind you, this is a doctor he's asking.
So men can
God damn, just look at him.
have pregnancies, especially trans men.
Can men get pregnant?
Especially trans men. So by using the word especially trans men, he's pointing to the possibility that there could be men, biological men, that could have babies as well. These people are fucking mental. They're fucking mental.
I'm not aware of it.
Okay. Well, Mr. Secretary, materials coming from your department, you've referred to mothers as birthing persons, replacing that title with
Are mothers not persons?
mothers are
Oh, here he is. Oh, he's smart ass. We've got a smart one on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, he's a quick one.
persons, but it seems to be more inclusive, like you're trying to include another gender in that.
I'm all about inclusion, Congresswoman.
My name is Danny. I'm a non-binary birther. For those of you who don't know, I gave
God damn. You a handsome young lady, huh?
birth to my child 20 months ago at home.
That voice is hilarious, bro. It's like she's huffed a hella helium.
It was beautiful. It was a spiritual experience. Congratulations. Thank you. I did it as a non-binary
God damn. God damn. That's a woman.
person.
But what, she cut her tits off and that, so what, baby's gonna grow up on the powder milk? Damn.
Not as a woman, just to be very clear.
Some medical professionals have insisted and continue to insist that there is no difference between trans-identified males and a female when it comes to female sports. That men should be allowed to compete against women, giving us the likes of Leah Thomas and other athletes who have stolen opportunities and wins from female competitors.
In June, a complaint was filed by the families of 3 girls who say allowing transgender athletes to compete in sports as the gender they identify with unfairly discriminates against their daughters.
But I also don't need anybody's permission to be myself and to do the sport that I love.
So, like, this idea that, like, oh, you're not a biological woman. Well, I am a woman. That's a fact. I am female, so all my identity records, my racing license, my medical records all say female, right? And I'm pretty sure I made a biological stuff, so I'm a biological female as well.
I can't.
You see the justification, how they the gymnastics, the fucking contortion that they've got to do to get to their conclusion. Like, technically I am.
Can't say what I want to say here.
You're crazy, is what you are. And thank you for highlighting yourself in society. We can clearly see you now and avoid.
I will get banned from YouTube. I was actually quite happy earlier when I read this article saying that the asteroid that's set to hit our planet in a couple years will probably not hit it anymore. And then I watched this clip, and now
Damn. We're pissed.
I yearn for the meteor! By this time, TikTok was in full swing, and you all know how much I love TikTok. And it became a breeding ground for mental illness and all of this gender insanity. Young people were ideologically captured, and all of this started.
Look at this, man. Look at this. Would you want your child to see this? I certainly wouldn't. I think a majority of people wouldn't.
Showing up much more in schools and in universities and in the medical field, where kids were insisting that they were something other than their sex. To answer this growing demand, gender clinics started popping up all over the place.
Evil fucking guy here. In England as well. You know, Great Britain. Fuck me.
Doctors
Good old London.
made light-hearted TikToks talking about performing double mastectomies on healthy young people.
Gender clinics across the country have seen a huge rise in child referrals.
Our journey with a transgender child.
You know, we've seen staggering growth in gender medical treatment for children.
My name is Ella and I'm 7 years old and I'm transgender.
The UK's Tavistock Institute was prescribing
No, darling, you've been brainwashed somehow. They've influenced you. No, you're not.
puberty blockers to
You grow. Have time to grow. Don't even worry about that. Why are you worried about that?
people as young
It's sad
as
to
10,
see.
insisting children must be gender.
Look, you can see that the kid's been forced there at a point. I can sense it, man. That this is an influence from the mum or the parents. They're saying, no, you got to say this, say this, say this. This is how you feel. Tell them. It's sad, man. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. It was fucked up when mums and that are doing it to their daughters when it's dancing. You know, when you got the dancing drag, or not drag queen, you know, whatever they are, beauty queens, the little kid beauty queens. You can tell that the mum really wanted to do that, and she failed or didn't do it for whatever reason, and then now is forcing that dream upon their child. We've all seen that. Now it's like happening with this shit. It's like, what the fuck?
Affirmed early on, lest they go and, you know, do horrible
It's actually
things to
a
themselves.
pandemic.
The insanity was absolutely everywhere, coming at us from all sides. And rather than seeing this, rather than identifying the growing backlash and anger and frustration coming from the wider population and trying to be understanding, the trans activist gender movement people instead decided to double down.
Wow, that's so crazy. I can't believe they did that. That's just totally unexpected from them.
Threats from trans-identified males towards women they label as hateful became commonplace. Images of women being hanged with captions like "dead TERFs" or "kill a TERF" have circulated across the internet, cheered on by so many. While they scream about just wanting acceptance, they fail to rein in the worst actors among them, including those perpetuating legitimately violent...
Look at this fucking weirdo down there. This fucking weirdo down there does not give a fuck about what is going on here. This is the opportunity to do this. It's a reason to come out and do this. They were yearning to do this. These are the sort of people. Sickness. It's the fucking sickness.
Violent rhetoric.
I was gonna come here and be really fluffy and be really nice and
oh, scary, big man.
say, yeah, be really lovely and queer and gay. No, if you see a TERF, punch him in the fucking face.
T-shirts with messages like "trans rights or else" and "protect trans."
These lot ain't loving. We were deceived, guys. These ain't loving at all.
Kids with images of knives or guns have been seen at trans protests across the country.
The fuck is this, bro? What the fuck is this, bro?
Countless stories about males exposing themselves to women and young girls in locker rooms and bathrooms have made headlines, met with silence from trans activists, of course. Incidences of women being essayed by trans-identified males in prison have gone ignored by the community that fights for their inclusion at the cost of...
Why isn't that being highlighted? That's suspicious.
Even...
Does it break down the narrative? I think so.
The most hailed trans activists have behaved wildly inappropriately, with one incident making national headlines when Rose Montoya was seen partially naked on the White House lawn in
come on now, it's a bit of a stretch saying partially naked. I mean, he's dressed like a whore, but...
2023. The message that everyone who disagrees with you must be a Nazi has eroded any attempts to reach common ground.
So dumb. Yeah, it's so true what she's saying. That's what it's done. So now that we have no possibility of having a discourse. That's gone out the window. There's no possibility of peace and coming to an agreement with these sort of people. That's gone out the window. You can't, because they'll call you a Nazi. That's what will happen. They'll straight away try to identify your political alliance. And then if they see that you're not a political person, they will then try to worm their way in to see how you view your sexual view. Really weird, these fucking people. Really fucking weird. And then if they do find out that you're actually a normal person, then boom, you're banned from the club. They're going to attempt to cancel you. And they're going to call you a Nazi. How about that on a Saturday night? And this is on a Saturday night, your weekend, your only day off. You go out to have that. Imagine. You come home, knackered. Mum, you wouldn't guess what happened. She'd go, what? What happened, son? Go, I got called a Nazi, a fascist, sexist, racist, and transphobic. I'm Nazi, Mum. Allegedly. And Mum will go, oh, it's them silly cunts again, innit? Yapping and yapping. You remember what I told you when I was a kid? Stay away from them cunts. And I go, oh yeah, I forgot. Silly me.
But worse than that, it has emboldened people to continue making violent threats in the name of protecting themselves. Like this video, for example, that circulated in 2023, where a trans-identified individual made several alarming remarks.
I dare you to try and stop me from going into a women's bathroom.
Excuse me, sir? Excuse me, sir?
It will be the last mistake you ever make. I dare you to try and stop a transgender woman in my presence from using the bathroom.
He's a bad man. Yo. Tough one here, ladies and gentlemen.
It will be the last mistake you ever make.
It's a tough one here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a fucking hard one here. Hard as nails, this one here. Coming from the mean streets of Michigan. The hard life of Michigan. Rough. Working in the coal mines. Rough. Building things. This geezer's hard.
This is a call to action.
Don't you dare stop him from going to the toilet. If I can pummel you into the ground like he did for thousands of years with steel. He has built a house multiple times. This is a traditional man. Lumberjack, they used to call him. Lumberjack. Hey, what's going on, Liam Lumberjack? They'd call him. He'd walk around with the pints. He was always lovely. Monday morning, he's got a six-pack on him. Look, Lumberjack's come with a six-pack, the legend. They go, yeah, it's 7 in the morning, Lumberjack. Why you got tequila? Yeah, that's Lumberjack Liam. Hair on his chest, he has.
You need to arm up. Plain and simple. Go out, buy a gun. You need to protect yourself, and you need to...
And he's out here threatening. He's out here threatening ya. He's going, no, get a gun. I'm advising you to get a gun. Lumberjack Liam has never played a game in his single life. Look at him, look at his lips. He's being serious.
Protect your fellow transgender brothers and sisters and theys and thems. You need to protect the rest of us in the LGBT community.
You're rough, man. You're rough. You've done some things with them calloused hands. You're a big boy.
As I'm going to do myself. Because there are lots of people like me who are not afraid to die.
Serious man. See that? I want him on the front line.
I always find these type of videos really
I want that one on the front line, please.
interesting because they're usually being made for people who can't even run up a hill. The people that you're instructing to get firearms probably think they're too heavy. It actually just makes me think of an army of David Huggs, and I don't find that particularly intimidating.
Damn.
The notion that someone stopping you from using a bathroom is worthy of physical violence is a direct result of the ideas that trans activists have been spreading for over a decade. That anyone who doesn't abide by the growing insanity of the gender ideology and trans movements is a direct threat. The many
Protect undocumented queers and trans criminals. Huh?
Many viral It's Ma'am moments certainly haven't helped bring the public around to...
Yeah, he just softly said male and female by saying brothers and sisters. Huh? That's another very interesting point that you bring up there, because with brothers and sisters, what do we do with that? Huh? What happens there?
accepting these types of
Do we need something in between that?
ideas and behaviors in civil
Okay, now look at that gentleman over there, pissed off with the blondie over there.
society. Once again, putting it mildly.
Had such a bad day, what happened? Looks like a bad life.
Say what you want to about the It's Ma'am crowd, but they have given us a lot of very fun
It's true, bro, that's what I'm gonna call them. It's ma'am crowd. True.
videos to laugh at over the years. I'm just trying to give you guys some
It's the ma'am clan. Bum, 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 ba-da-dum. Da. Bu, bu. Da, bum, 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 bum. That's the sort of music it fucking, like a marching of an army. Bum, 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 ba-da-dum. Bum, 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 bum.
Silver linings here. The irony for me, and I'm not quite sure how to articulate this, but I'm going to do my best, is that many trans activists and allies from the trans and gender-based communities, these movements, paint themselves typically as the victim in all of this, despite the fact that they are, in fact, the most...
It's the poor me, it's the poor me characteristic. That's the sort of people they are. Every single thing that's happened to them in their life has never been their fault. That's the way that they have convinced themselves that it is. Nothing. They are innocent in everything. It's all been done to them, and woe be them, because they are carrying the burdens of the world. They are the harbingers of bad luck. You're just a piece of shit that just won't take control of your life. You're just a lazy fucking piece of shit. Just sitting there, wanking your life away. It's a lot of them what they are. Poor bastards, I say. Say fucking hell. Eventually that wall will get hit. You know, but what I worry about with these people is like, I worry that by the time that the wall is hit, it's too late. It's too late. Life has fleeted you by. Shit, man. Well, what a demise.
Most aggressive perpetrators online a lot of the time, and typically are the ones making these situations even worse. I just really struggled to see how the most aggressive voices in a community and across an issue who are contributing to people getting doxxed and fired and harassed.
Yeah, and I mean, isn't this community about love, and we accept everyone, but we put gates on the front. We accept anyone to join our community, but we vet and we check them, we fucking interrogate them and make sure that they are in our ideology. We're loving. Except for those that don't follow our ideology, we hate them and kill them and call them Nazis. The fuck is this?
And whatnot.
The normal man chilling and relaxing upon the hill will look and go, what the fuck's wrong with him? It's the normal reaction.
Are the victims in all of that? I feel like I am missing something. The dots are not all connecting. Anyway, all of this said, you might be asking, Sydney, what's the net effect of all of these things? Well, I will tell you. People are tired. They are tired of walking on.
It's fucking tiresome. Oh boy, is it tiresome.
On eggshells, and they are fed up with being accused of bigotry or transphobia lest they use the wrong pronoun.
It's like with me now, is like these sort of people have become, I've trained my mind, and I've trained my mind to such a capacity. Yeah, I've trained it so well. We've been in night training in the gym, night dojo, night sessions for years, fully prepared. And with my mind's eye, with it being so exercised so much, it's affected my physical eyes. And I'll tell you why it is. I've trained myself to the point that I cannot see them. They simply do not exist, ladies and gentlemen, in my vision. It started to affect even my vision. I can't see them. Where are they? They don't exist for me. It's becoming joyous.
Down with a stranger that they meet in the store. Many people, me included, are tired of watching language be altered and erased to accommodate a fraction.
And I utterly ignore them. I don't see them. Don't communicate with them.
Of a fraction of the population, erasing age-old truths that we have known and understood since the beginning of recorded history. So yeah, it's not really a mystery why the pendulum is doing a backswing right now. Depending on your perspective, the funny or sad part here in all of this is...
The Care Bears was a psyop to test this out agenda. To test this agenda.
So how many people actually just used to wholesale support and or accept
Wholesale. I want to get in that business.
the trans movement and its objectives and many of
Bitch, put a word in for me.
its people. But as time has worn on, those same people have become infinitely less accepting because of the tactics used by the trans community in forcing their acceptance. Are we seeing a trend here? In their attempts to basically shame and attack people into compliance, they have instead caused a ton of the broader community to jump ship. People don't take too kindly to children being exposed to things like drag shows, hypersexualized pride events.
A lot of people who would see this would not like this. The majority of people that would see this, what we're just seeing, would not like that and go, no, this is wrong. No. Stay away from the kids. Right? That's normal. I think that reaction is normal. What they're trying to convince you is that that's not a normal reaction for you to have. And they're ridiculing you for that reaction. How dare they? When the majority of people would react this way. They're changing reality. Before our eyes, they're trying to change it. Huh? Move away from there. I've looked behind the curtain. I can see the wizard meddling. Move away from there. Silly bastard. Shoo.
They don't like seeing drag performances at school assemblies.
No, most people would look at this and go, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. There's no if, but, maybe. People go, no, this is wrong. We're having drag shows at schools. This is confusion. The kids are sitting there confused. This is utter confusion, planting a seed of confusion within their mind. Don't they see that? Of course they see that. It's part of the fucking operation. I'm just sick of seeing it. And I'm sick of it, like, their attempt, their pitiful attempt at normalizing it. It's ridiculous. It's laughable. Dirty fucking groomers is what they're beginning to become in the category of my mind. I see them as dirty groomers. You're dirty groomers. Remove yourself from them children. Unhand those kids. Move away. You're becoming like that. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? And then trying to make me feel bad about it. Huh? What the? Then it'll become violent. It could become violent. Then it'll be like, hey, the fuck, come here. Grab him by the hair. Grab him by the fucking hair. I'm here. Come over here. Let's have fucking word, Liam. Liam, you're gonna fucking learn a lesson today, Liam. Stay away from the fucking kids, Liam. Me the wrong one.
And class education that is graphic and misleading.
The lesson teacher. Then you learn a lesson.
Telling little children that gender is a spectrum and sex is not, in fact, immutable. The hostility with which trans activists and allies approach arguments. The refusal to acknowledge the reality.
They're dying to change that reality. They're doing anything to change reality. They'll do anything to change the simple reality. When in reality, it's impossible. The people always go, what the fuck is this? And push too much, the people come and quell that stupid little fire that you've got over there. They'll come and quell it really quickly. You push too much, the people go, you're becoming a nuisance now. Be quiet. Shush. And that's it. People will tolerate a lot. But the moment you start to fucking affect the kids and all of that, now, quell that. They're becoming silly now. You was funny in the beginning, now you're silly. Shush.
Of our biological nature and the constant attempt
You're not fucking Jack Nicholson over here. Fuck me, that's haunting.
To change language to accommodate people's
terrifying
precious feelings has accelerated the disdain and anger.
Leave Batman alone. Fucking hell, man. Just leave him alone.
In the broader community. And I can assure you this pendulum swing is about to get much worse. Or better, depending on which side of the aisle you're on and how you feel about all of this.
Mr. Tumble. Ooh, all of them. Rudolph. What was the other one with the wack? Rudolph, was it? Rudolph, Adolf, something like that, I can't remember.
By refusing to put meaningful, logical limits
Rufus, what was his name? Suspicious characters. Jimmy Savile, we've been working with kids for years.
On self-identification, by blurring the lines between science and ideology and forcing their ideas.
Yes. We are aware of this, yes. Yes, we are aware.
Onto the wider population, trans activists and their allies have ensured that all of the ground that they have achieved in recent years is going to be reversed. So the bottom line is that whether or not people agree or disagree with what's currently happening, the backslide of support that we're currently seeing and the reversal of policies that we're currently seeing is entirely self-inflicted. I am personally of the opinion that most people probably would have been fine
I just thought of something so fucked up, but I don't think I'll be able to say it.
continuing this live and let live philosophy
Shall I type
and
it?
the trans movement and its activists not gone completely off the bloody rails. At one point, there probably actually was a middle ground that could have been achieved here, but again, these people made damn sure that that was never going to be the case, and now we have very much bypassed that stage. And
Fucking sick background there, keeps catching my attention. Got Ghost of Sushi vibes. Sick.
just to be clear, I'm not saying any of this with a degree of glee or whatever. I honestly would prefer just to be left alone, but apparently that's just too much to ask. In the end, my prediction here is that this entire movement is going to unravel. And honestly, although I'm not super sure what that looks like at its nth degree, I am very pleased that finally some sanity is making headway. Now on that note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder, check out Incogni using the link in the description. As I have said previously, I unironically love this service, and if you are somebody who is concerned about your information being out there on the internet, definitely check it out. It might be for you. Now I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Are you on my side of this issue, where you also started off very indifferent and have ended up quite frustrated by all of this? Are you on the other
there's
side
a lot of people
aisle
like
where
that.
you
I'm from the side of the place where the fucking, you know, that side of the fucking hill. I'm on the side of the mountain where the side of the valley is. I'm on that side of the fucking spectrum of the other side of the mountain under the ocean. You know that mountain? I'm in the fucking cavern of the hill. I'm inside the cave on top of the hill, under the cavern, beneath the ocean, inside the sun. I'm from that hill, and from where I stand, I just go, that's a penis, that's vagina. And then that's it, and then I fucking fade out.
think that it's very necessary to pursue trans rights and gender-based things? Are you somebody who thinks that we are taking things now too far and that rolling back many of these policies
It's silly.
is actually...
It's been silly from the fucking inception of it, from them bringing in the little nuggets of stupidity. From the moment I noticed them, is like, I went to the valley under the mountain, you know that place, I went back there.
Actually a bad thing? Do you think that it's a good thing? Do you think that it protects women and girls and ultimately is bringing society back to some sort of...
It's not protecting, everyone knows it's not protecting, it's exploiting. You've misused the word, fucker. You've fucking mistyped it.
...of sanity-based equilibrium? Do you think that this is going to unravel ultimately, that this movement is going to kind of die a slow and painful death, or do you think that maybe we can actually find a middle ground?
We can hope.
And what do you generally make of this issue overall?
I mean, hope for the death. The middle ground, it seems like you can't, because they'll call you a Nazi straight away. So that bridge is burnt, unfortunately, lads. It's all Elon salt, allegedly. Well, I mean, we're all fucked now because of that. And yeah. Madness. Stay away from the kids. You dirty groomers.
Boys, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride.
I don't give her a sub.
If you are new here and you are not subscribed already... and
I've done it already. Don't need to tell me. I liked it. I subbed. I'll pin it when the time comes. Good content.
you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to hit that subscribe button, as well as leaving this video a like and a comment, because I do read the majority of them and I really like hearing your feedback. Of course, in the interim, my dear potato children, I hope you all stay safe and well, and I will see your very pretty faces in the next video.
Good one. I like that one. Good content.